This book I'm speaking from, I'm charged to preach just as it is written. And I want you today to get a message of you are to be prepared to arm yourself. I will also speak to you about what keeps us, or what causes us to be hearers and not doers, is the world, our flesh, and the devil. But I'm also charged to tell you that there is good news.
Lord Jesus.
A few years back when I left the government, I left the government about a year ago, but a few years prior to that, I was in charge of a firearms program, in a tactical firearms branch. And I almost decided to leave this portion out of what I wanted to talk to you about, because some of you, not all of you, have heard about the tragedy down in Sanford, Florida, that there has been a verdict rendered. It was not what most people thought it would be. And so I wanted to give this illustration about weapons. And just so that you'll get an idea that I'm going somewhere with this, our weapons are not carnal. So these illustrations that I give you should be related to some spiritual places where I hope to go. And so I was in charge of this shooting program called survival shooting training program. We used to call it speed shooting. That wasn't politically correct, in the police jargon. But actually, we learned the techniques from a sports speed shooting competition. So we took those techniques that would help us be faster and accurate and use proper judgment, and we employed them in a training program. And you couldn't apply for this training program unless you were an advanced student. And I think the first day that they would come in, we would give them a safety brief. And then the very next thing we would do is we would videotape their handling of their weapons. Remember, our weapons are not carnal. And I think the Word of God is similar. Every first Sunday around here, we have communion. And part of that communion is to examine yourself. And when we videotape our students, it was so that they might examine themselves to see if they were doing what was proper. And I've traveled all over the United States teaching this program with a group of highly skilled individuals. And at the end of the first day, we would hand them an article written by a guy named Lieutenant Dave Grossman. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. Lieutenant Grossman wrote this paper. It's called Wolves, Sheep, and Sheepdog. And so we would have them read that overnight for their homework. And so it was designed to give them the proper mindset. Romans 12 talks about the renewing of your mind. So there is a relationship with where I'm going with this. And so I'm going to read you a couple of excerpts. It was pretty long. I'm not going to read you everything, but just to kind of give you a taste for where we're going, even in the scriptures. And he said that most people in our society are like sheep. They are kind and gentle, productive citizens, and can only hurt another person by accident. And I don't mean anything negative, he says, about calling people sheep. That's just the nature of people. Most people are like that. They don't want to fight. They're not looking for a fight. They just want to be left alone. And far too many people, sheep, live in denial. And as my sister sang in that song, we are in a battle. It's a war going on. And if you cannot accept the fact, you're probably in denial. Now, we can accept the fact that in our schools we are demanding people to have fire extinguishers, fire sprinklers, fire exits. And I'll tell you the truth, your child is more likely to suffer school violence than it is for him to get hurt or she to get hurt in a school fire. How about the wolves? Wolves feed on sheep without mercy. When they want to interview criminals, the vast majority of them they specifically targeted individuals by watching their body language, how they slumped over, how they walk, how they were passive in their behavior, and how they lacked awareness. You know, I'm relating this to the church, I think, because far, far too often we come to church and we're just looking for just a good time to hear good music, and all those things are good, but actually there's a war going on. The responsibility of the leaders of the church is to equip the saints for battle. Do you believe that there are wolves who feed on the flock mercilessly? I think you'd better. There's no safety in denial. Then there's the sheepdog. I'm a sheepdog by choice. There's nothing really special about being a sheepdog. It's just that I live to protect the flock and confront the wolf. Not in my own strength, but by the authority and the power of Jesus Christ our Lord, who has already won the battle. Police officers and soldiers are like sheepdogs with the sole purpose of serving and protecting. If you have no capacity for this, you must look deep into your own soul. Look to see if you can walk through this darkness and walk out unscathed. I submit to you, the Christian is to be trained and equipped like a sheepdog. Remember the scripture says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. You said that all the time.
God, my master.
Yeah. And I will fear no evil. Yeah. For thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Yeah. Isn't that what we say? Do we believe that? Or do we have just a form of godliness? Denying his power to protect us. And we shrink back in fear and not in faith. Having a form of God, but denying his power. That's what the Bible tells us. That's why it tells us to put on our armor.
That's right.
Also understand that the sheepdogs, they're funny kind of people. I'm a funny kind of person. I'm always kind of sniffing around. Watching. Listening. My wife will tell you. Checking the breeze. Barking at things that go bump in the night. Men, that's our job. Stand on the wall and watch. Like Ezekiel said. What's that? That's okay, brother. It's all right. But we're on the job. Watching. Waiting to get into a righteous battle. But we're soldiers in the army of God.
That's right.
Isn't that what's written? Marching to one beat. Isn't that what we say in our song? Crushing the enemy under our feet. And then I've got to tell you, all those gifts that God has given us to love and to protect. We were in a Bible study not long ago with Pastor Hayes, and he gave us an interesting statistic from this Bible study that he brought forward. It was to you or Pastor Steve, that 95% of all murders committed in America are committed by men. that Sister Hayes, Sister Whittenburg are working diligently to do the best they can. Older women, deaconess too. Teach the younger woman. You know, Satan he's on my back. Telling me not to say some things. Intimidating me. Older women, teach the younger women. I hope you know what I'm talking about. All right. Ephesians 6. Ephesians 6. While you're turning there, I'm going to just tell you a little bit of the background of Ephesians. Paul is writing this letter to the church in Ephesus. Timothy was recruited that he's the pastor in Ephesus. And he was his young comrade, companion. And Paul left him there. If you don't believe me, read 1 Timothy 1. And he left him there and said to him, hey, guard the flock against men who would come in and teach strange doctrines and endless genealogy about things that don't matter, causing doubt in people's minds. Men who twist the application of the Word of God. And they simply just don't know what they're talking about. Guard Timothy and entrust them to faithful men. Again, I thought about this tragedy down in San Francisco. Can I tell you the truth? See, the truth is, we don't know exactly what happened. And that's my truth. Now, if you know God like I know God, vengeance is mine, says I will repay. Now, if you know God, you've got to stay right there. He's told us that we should submit to the authorities. Now, here's what I'm talking about by endless genealogy. See, we're going to make this a black and white thing. It's in our blood. So that'll just distract us from doing what God said. I know what I'm talking about. So we get into this endless genealogies about black and white. It don't amount to nothing. In the long run, I'm black and I know all this stuff. And the truth of God's word. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In the letter to the Ephesians, Paul does not address any particular era. It's like, oh, there's no particular area here. Huh? But he provides insight in the book of Ephesians about the eternal plan of the church and instructs the believers how they ought to walk in unity, about spiritual gifts, how they ought to forsake the old man and who walks in the futility of the flesh, and how instead he ought to walk in the spirit. Paul expresses how the believers ought to walk in love, how they ought to walk in the light, how they ought to walk in wisdom. And further, Paul paints this intimate relationship that believers have with Christ as he describes the marriage relationship. Christ is the groom, and we the believers are the bride. And also Paul presents the family structure, husband, wife, and children, to emphasize the proper order and authority which mankind can function and all can be fulfilled. Why do you think in this world, this is a spiritual book.